33 Immortals throws you alongside 32 other players in a chaotic roguelike where teamwork and skill decide your fate. But does this ambitious multiplayer mayhem actually work? Hey, I'm Luna's dad, and today we're diving into 33 Immortals. I break down my first impressions after 30 minutes of playtime, the highs, the lows, and whether the game is worth your time. Before throwing you into the madness, 33 Immortals starts off with a quick solo tutorial. It covers the basics, movement, combat, and the different resources you'll need to keep track of. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it does a solid job of getting you ready for what's ahead. After finishing the intro, you arrive in the Darkwoods, your home base. If you've played Hades, it serves a similar purpose to the House of Hades. Here you can accept daily quests from a board, equip or upgrade perks with Dante, change your wardrobe by talking to Charon, and check feats with Beatrice, who also rewards you with permanent upgrades. You can also choose between different weapons which completely change how you play. There are 4 options: a sword, daggers, a bow, or a staff. I decided to go with a dagger since I wanted a fast, agile playstyle for my first run. I expected matchmaking to take a while. After all, 33 players is a lot to gather, but surprisingly, it was almost instant. As soon as you load in, the action starts immediately. There is no downtime or waiting around. You're thrown straight into the battle alongside dozens of other players. The combat feels fast and responsive. Movement is smooth, attack lands satisfyingly, and dodging enemy strikes is key to staying alive. The game heavily relies on dodge mechanics, as many enemy attacks have large area of effect markers that force you to time your movements carefully. Each weapon also comes with a unique multiplayer ability which can be charged up and activated when other players join in. These team-based attacks and buffs add an interesting layer to the combat. On top of that, there is a co-strike mechanic which encourages players to stick together by boosting critical hit chances when fighting alongside teammates. As you progress, you'll face waves of enemies and elite bosses while collecting resources along the way. Dust can be spent at shrines to upgrade your attack power, health, or class abilities. Meanwhile, bones are used at bone shrines to heal, purchase teleport stones, or unlock special chests. Once enough enemies have been defeated, torture chambers unlock. These are small dungeons where up to 6 players can team up to take on waves of enemies and mini-bosses. If you survive, you'll find treasure chests inside, though you'll need keys to open them. At this point, I wanted to see what it was like to fight alone, so I intentionally wandered off from the group. That turned out to be a terrible idea. The game clearly wants you to stick with your team, and solo combat feels painfully slow. It's a clear indication that co-op is the intended way to play. My first death came inside the second torture chamber. Fortunately, the game allows other players to revive you within 30 seconds, which gives you a second chance. However, there's a catch. Each revival permanently reduces your max health, making future fights even harder. My run ended for good in the third torture chamber, where I finally ran out of luck. Once you die, you're done. The remaining players continue fighting until the entire group is wiped out. Like any good roguelike, death isn't the end. It's just another step toward becoming stronger. Every run rewards you with eternal shards, paragons, stardust, and perks, all of which can be used for permanent upgrades that make future attempts easier. Now let's talk about what didn't work for me. The visuals are just okay. While the game has a decent art style, it doesn't quite stand out, especially when compared to something like Hades. Since this is still early access, there's a chance the graphics will improve, but for now, they're just okay. My biggest concern is the multiplayer aspect. While the co-op abilities and revival system are nice, I'm not fully convinced that's enough to make the multiplayer aspect feel deep or essential. Now onto the things I really enjoyed. Combat feels fantastic. The game responds well to your inputs, attacks feel fluid, and dodging enemy strikes is satisfying. The roguelike progression is addictive. Even after dying, I immediately wanted to jump back and see how much further I could get in the next run. And my favorite thing about the game so far is that the session length feels just right. In just 30 minutes, I feel like I had a full experience with meaningful progression. Hopefully, later stages don't drastically increase the time commitment. So, after 30 minutes, what's my final verdict? Is 33 Immortals worth playing, or should you skip it? Right now, I'd say 33 Immortals nails the chaotic roguelike formula. The combat is fast, the co-op mechanics are fun, and the progression system keeps you coming back for more. That said, the early game pacing could use some work, and I'd like to see the multiplayer mechanics evolved into something more than just revives and team-based abilities. If you're a fan of roguelikes and enjoy fast-paced action, this is definitely a game worth checking out, especially since it's available on Game Pass. So, what do you think? Does 33 Immortals look like a must-play, or do you think it needs more depth? And if you enjoyed this breakdown, consider subscribing for more first impressions and reviews.